Aloha, beautiful. Great to have you back. Don't miss out on any episode. Follow me on Facebook where you will receive additional information. Just look for Tita May. And for now, I wish you lots of new inspirations. Aloha, my dear sweet beamings out there. Another Friday, another time for inspirations and motivations. Yeah, so for today, I was thinking that I'd like to tell you about 3 of the main things that I believe where we stand ourselves in our own way. Meaning where we actually block ourselves from thriving, from being the beautiful beaming that we want to be, that we can be, that our soul wants to be. And yeah. And how do I want to start? I think I want to get started with I think the biggest one of them, of all 3, and that's pressure. You've all probably lived a moment where you pressure yourself. I mean, sometimes we do get pressure from the outside, like job-wise or whatever. And I know that there's this saying, or I don't know if it's an English saying, but I heard it. It's like a diamond is made under a lot of pressure. And I believe that there are certain people that actually really thrive under pressure. But the most of us, of ourselves, like I think all humankind, the problem isn't the pressure that happens from the outside. It's the pressure we make ourselves. And that's where a lot of us actually stand in our own way because we don't allow something to be free. Because by applying pressure to ourselves, we actually are holding ourselves back. So if you, just to give you an idea, if you, like, you've probably heard of writer's blockage. And I believe that actually happens when a writer is pressuring him or herself too much to be able to bring out a text or a book. And they put this pressure on themselves that they have to be done by that time, or maybe it's not a time thing, maybe it's a quality thing. And then they pressure themselves and then it never happens. Actually, you can even use that for, you've probably also heard about that, like women pressuring themselves that they need to get pregnant. And then after, I don't know how many years of trying, then they kind of like give up on themselves and suddenly they get pregnant. I've had, like, I don't know, like so many cases in my friendship where women were having that. They were pressuring themselves so much to be pregnant, and just when they let go, suddenly everything was fine and the body was functioning properly. And it's the same thing on a mental or like spiritual basis. For me, for example, what was amazing is I learned channeling with a group, and well, no, not channeling, it was trance channeling. And I remember that in the whole group, I was the one that by the end of the training couldn't do the trance channeling. And I was really disappointed in myself why I couldn't do that. And I remember pressuring myself, like, you know, you try to put yourself under pressure to do it, to channel and to be able to have that. And it was really sad for myself. And back then my self-esteem wasn't as high anyway, so that kind of like pushed it even down further. But after a couple of months, because it really took me a couple of months to realize that to stop pressuring me and just decide, okay, so I'm not that good with that. So okay, so I'm not going to be trance channeling. But then suddenly, when I let go of that and wasn't focused on the trance channeling itself, I realized that I was actually taking care of the energy in the room. That I was actually good in communicating with the spirit world in a different kind of way. And that actually the spirit world was taking over my voice, making me a voice medium. So that was very interesting, because before that I was putting myself so much under pressure that I had to be a trance channel, that I wasn't giving myself the option that there was actually something else that I could do. And I hope this example shows you how you can actually, like, how we take away so much possibility if we pressure ourselves that we have to be a certain kind of way, or that we have to, like we pressure ourselves to be the perfect person, and then we're angry with ourselves because we didn't do this and that, and we didn't do this perfectly, and then you're angry with yourself and for not being perfect and for doing things wrong. And you see how that spirals, how you can actually pull yourself down with that. But on the other hand, if you say, okay, I'm going to give my best, that's all I can do. I can give my best. And if today my best was to not have a good day, then that was it. That was my best that I could do for today. Once you take that pressure away, suddenly things start to work out. Things get better. Things start flowing, because with the pressure you're focusing on one thing, but you don't even realize that maybe there's such a big possibility surrounding those things. Or maybe you just are taking the wrong path and you choose a different path, and suddenly everything is so easy. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I hope you see that, because I feel like that kind of pressure is like the worst part, where we really pull ourselves back, don't allow ourselves to actually thrive, because we're pressuring us into one or the other direction. And once we let go and just come into this flow and just, I don't know, kind of get really comfortable and trust and believe that you're always going to be fine wherever you are. That's always going to be okay. And you're going to be in the perfect place where you're supposed to be. And that if you need to go in a certain direction, you will be guided and you will find the way there at the time it's necessary. Because that's the other thing, that sometimes we pressure ourselves that we have to do something in a certain time. But then on the other hand, like you've probably also had a situation like that you were thinking you had to do it in that time, and then in the end you don't manage to do it in this certain amount of time, and later you realize, it was better to wait. You know? That's actually a practice that an example that I actually had when I was working still in an office. I remember that sometimes I would have some colleague come up and say, "Oh my God, we need this and that, and we need it until tomorrow, this and that time." And of course, you want to help, so you start stressing yourself, putting yourself under pressure about it. And I remember back then, because that's one of the things I realized back then, that instead of just starting to run blindly into one direction to get that done because it has to be done by tomorrow, instead of doing that, like taking a step back, taking a breather and say, okay, let's look at this situation. Do we really need it? Why is this going to be so important? And what happens if we don't manage to do it by that time? And suddenly you see the things way clearer. And the interesting thing was, because I remember in the beginning I would start running and try to get everything done in time. And then before the time was up, or even like after the time was up, suddenly someone will come up, "Oh, no, we don't need it anymore," or "Now we need it differently," you know? And so I realized that by taking a breather, looking at the whole situation, you get a lot clearer, and you kind of like get a different view of things. And sometimes you see that, okay, to get there, we're going to need to do this and that. Or you'll see, okay, to get to this goal, we're not going to need to do this, but we have to do this. So it helps you get a clearer view of things. And with that, I think it was Confucius, I think you would say in English. The Chinese dude. I think he said, if you're in a hurry, walk slowly. And I feel that this is like a good sentence that brings the whole pressure part in. But also, and that now we're going to get to the second point where I think we block ourselves on a really extreme level, and that's actually to be patient with ourselves. Because one thing is putting pressure on ourselves, because we're pressuring ourselves a lot of times because of the quality, but sometimes we pressure ourselves because of the timing. And the thing about the timing is that the universe actually knows you're always right where you are. So why are you so impatient with yourself? Why are you not able to give yourself the space and the time you need to process things, to get through things? Because I've realized that sometimes in my practice, I have people that are like, yeah, but I have this and that topic and I want to get rid of it, and I can't, and I can't, and I can't, and I keep trying, and I want to get rid of it. It's like, I've been going through this topic for so many times, and I still have it, and I don't know how to get rid of it. The first thing I ask is, why are you putting so much pressure on yourself? Maybe you're just not ready yet to let go. And by putting pressure on yourself that you need to have that done by next week, or why you've been to so many healers, why isn't it gone yet? You're actually pressuring yourself even more and not allowing you to actually let go. And you see where I'm going with this, right? I mean, the thing is, when you let go of things, that's when everything actually flows. How is it if you put pressure, like we're supposed to put pressure on a wound sometimes when it's bleeding, because it's for it not to leak, right? But it's the same thing for a normal artery. If you put pressure on it, the blood's not going to flow. The same is with your air. When you're breathing air, if you put pressure on somewhere on your nose, you're not going to be able to breathe. Take a garden hose, put your fingers on it, put pressure on it. You're not going to be able to have water flow through it because you put pressure on it. So you see where I'm getting at. The thing is to be able to have a lightful life, a life full of that's not so heavy. You're going to need to let go of pressure for yourself. You're going to need to let go of the patient. You need to let go of pressuring yourself because of time. So be patient with yourself. Be patient and trust that wherever you are in that moment, you're going to be fine. The third thing that I believe where we block ourselves is when we are too much on the outside and not on the inside. Meaning that a lot of us, or a lot of the times, I believe we're more worried about the others and what they might think and how they might feel, that we don't allow ourselves to actually do whatever needs to be done. And I think that also a lot of the times, if you actually look for it, if it's you're going to find the people that are in connection with you in unconditional love, meaning your family, your friends, people that you call your ohana even though they're not like blood family. If they are connected in love with you, they're going to be able to accept whatever changes you want to go through, or if you don't want to do certain things. Because we're allowed to change our opinions, and we're allowed to feel good or feel bad about certain things. And by not allowing it yourself, you're blocking yourself from doing certain things. Like, for example, you have a friend that actually you've had a habit with your friends to do something on a certain day, and you keep doing that. But there's actually something that you would prefer to do. Let's say there's a training that you would really love to visit, but you feel like you can't go and visit that training because it falls on the same day where you actually hang out with your friends. And you feel like if you say something, they're gonna feel unloved by you because you are putting the other thing first. And I hope you're hearing me in this by just saying that. And try not to see it just for that kind of things. I mean, put it for everything in your life. Where are you holding back on things that you really want to do from your heart because you're afraid someone else is going to get hurt? Or you're afraid someone else is not going to like it? Or you're afraid someone else is not going to say, yeah, that it's good if you're going to, like giving you confirmation. The real and true confirmation you're going to need for your life is inside of your heart. Are you feeling good with something or not? And if you're feeling that something is good and you're doing it from your heart, you're going to find people accepting it. Even though it might take them a while, but they're going to accept it. And those who don't accept it, you should rethink if you really want them in your life. And that's like really a truth. Because you want to be surrounded by people who accept you how you are, love you how you are. And you don't want to have people around you where you have to pretend to be something that you're actually not. And that's such a big thing where you can block yourself to thrive because you're pretending to be someone you're not for someone else. And you see how strong this is. And even if it feels like it's so minuscule and it's not so important, don't worry, I'll just do it, doesn't matter. You're going to see that on the long run, you're not going to be able to hold back on it. It's going to be blocking you. You're going to be feeling like something is holding you back. And you're going to find it in these little things, even if it's just little things. Because I know some of you are going to have bigger ones where you actually do that because you feel like you're going to hurt a family member or, things like that. And it's not easy. It's not easy. In the beginning, sometimes it's really hard because you're afraid you're going to hurt someone. But I feel like the problem with that is you're trying not to hurt the other ones, but you're actually hurting yourself. And then the spiral goes in that you're hurting yourself, you're blaming the other one, so this goes into a circle of pain. And to stop that is just like to allow yourself to be able, like to allow yourself that you want to do something, that you want to go into a special direction, and that's where you want to go with all your heart, and to ask your surroundings to accept that. I know there's always ways to say things, and you're always going to be able to find a way to explain to everyone in your surroundings whatever you feel like you want to do. and everyone is going to be able to accept it. And those who don't, well, sometimes it's a chance, and sometimes it's time to actually let go of people that are not good for you. So yeah, that part turned out to be a little bit hard, but I know it's not saying in a bad way, because everyone is with love and everything. But I feel that everything that holds us back in whichever way to thrive as a person in our personality is not good. And sometimes you need the separation to kind of like start glowing for yourself, start thriving for yourself, become strong, and then you can always come back and then see if it still works. It's never say goodbyes forever, sometimes it's just like, okay, right now it's not feeling good, let's take a break here and then just do that. But you see where I'm going from, and it's not easy always to find the harmony between everything, not putting too much pressure on yourself, not putting blocks, like, because these are the things where you block yourself. Those are the things where it's actually you that have to that has to do the change. You're the one that can take away your own pressure. I'm not talking about the other ones. Those are a different topic. But for yourself, take away the pressure to trying to be as perfect as whatever. You are perfect the way you are. You're awesome the way you are. And you don't have the need to hide it. And you don't have the need to push yourself into directions or into a hurry that you don't want to have. So this is something that I feel is important, and it's an epiphany that I had to realize, because I was thinking like, what could I talk to you guys about next, and it just felt right to bring those. At least for me, it felt like those are the three main things where we block ourselves. I might come up with some more at some other time, but for right now, I feel like those are like the worst enemies that we have, that we're making ourselves. They are really created by ourselves. So now you have the exercise for next week. Try to find out if you are blocking yourself in any kind any kind of way like this. If you're pressuring yourself too much, if you're trying to be too perfect, don't try to be too perfect, because you already are. And you can't make perfect more perfect. So you can just improve certain things, but that's for yourself, to become lighter, to become worry-free. And it just takes pressureless. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this. You have the exercises if you want to reflect for yourself. It always comes in the things you do. So just live on a day-to-day, enjoy the moment, and just see wherever your emotions take you with that. Wishing you an awesome weekend. If you still need certain things to let go, it's a good time right now, because we're having a descending moon. Do you say it that way? We're going to have a new moon soon. So right now it's good to let go of things. So if you think of something, or maybe you want to do the meditation I did a couple of days ago, that one was about letting go. So you can use that one for now. Okay, guys, sending you a big hug, a big aloha mahalo from my heart to your heart. Have a great weekend, and have a blessed next week. I'm looking forward to talk to you next week again. Bye, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in again. I hope you were able to get some good takeaways for yourself. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a review. And if you'd like to receive some more inspirational information, sign up to Tita May's Weekly Inspirations. You can find the link on my website, titamayola.com. I'm looking forward to inspire you some more, and until then, aloha mahalo, e ho'omaikai kako, e ahui ho.